Squid Game fans around the world are raging at the controversial finale to the most watched show on Netflix of all time. Season 1 was balls to the walls amazing, being a raw and unpredictable masterpiece jam-packed with new and exciting games, awesome characters, and nut-busting plot twists. Season 2 felt like a noticeable step down from Season 1, but Season 3 was questionable at best. How could a show backed by Netflix with seemingly unlimited resources at their disposal have such an insane decline in quality? In this video, I'll break down how Squid Game was actually set up to fail from the beginning, and exactly what made Squid Game Season 3 worse than you think. Squid Game was never meant to get a second season. Director Hwang Dong-hyuk admitted he only agreed to making Season 2 because he needed money, stating that he didn't make very much money at all from Season 1. Not only is this a horrible foundation for a follow-up season, but it gets even worse. Filming Squid Game has been extremely stressful for the director. He stated that he's lost several teeth over the course of filming the series, and I can see why. Imagine having to get the perfect shot while managing hundreds of actors at once. This means making sure their acting, makeup, and even the stains on their clothing are all in continuity with the story. Doing this with a handful of actors is very stressful, and I can only imagine how painstakingly aggravating it is to have to manage, direct, and overlook hundreds of actors at once. Hwang Dong-hyuk has mentioned wanting to move on to other projects, and I can't blame him, but there's also something else that played a major role. The actor for Gi Hun, Lee Jung-jae, received a payment of $2 million per episode for Season 2 and 3, a steep increase from the $200,000 per episode he locked in for Season 1. When you tally up the cost of paying every actor involved and the cost of the massive set designs, Netflix had an incentive to reduce the number of episodes. This explains why several important arcs in the show were either rushed or not explored at all. The showrunners had an incentive to cut everything short, which is why the finale felt brief and undercooked. Fewer episodes means shorter arcs and cheaper resolutions. On top of these unfortunate factors, the expectations of fans were through the roof, with fans creating insane theories on what would happen in the final season up until the very day it came out. With hype and expectations so high, it's almost impossible to meet those expectations, leading to fans being frustrated with the final season. But what exactly made Season 3 so disappointing? Here are all the factors that infuriated Squid Game fans around the world, leading to an underwhelming finale to a highly anticipated show. Number 1. It was rushed. So many important moments were either left out or felt half-baked. Fans were thrilled to learn about Daeho's backstory, theorizing whether or not he was actually in the Marines. While we did get an answer, this entire plot point got reduced to a last-minute confession before he got cooked by Gi Hun. The reunion between Jun Ho and Jun Ho was a highly anticipated moment. Fans were expecting to see a tear-jerking exchange between the two brothers, but instead we got a brief and distant interaction, with Jun Ho calling out to his brother a couple times and that's it. If this is the last we hear from these two, then this is massively disappointing. Jun Ho did so much in pursuit of understanding his brother's motivations, and to get such a brief interaction felt like an insult. For some reason, it felt like Gilbert got even dumber. During the final game in Season 1, Gilbert thought of ending the games with a vote before having to take out Sang-woo, but in Season 3, he immediately resorted to throwing himself off the platform. He was also much more quiet and passive in Season 3, which may coincide with the salary he agreed upon with Netflix. Fans used to be divided on whether or not MG Kwon was secretly a good guy, with a multitude of fans defending his actions throughout Season 2. But after threatening to drop his own baby off the tower, fans are only left with anger. Anger not only at his character, but at the writing too. It felt like MG Kwon wanted to be a better person and could even find a smart solution to making it out of the games. But instead, his character was completely thrown under the bus during the final game. Taking out player 100 and not hitting the button on the last tower were two of the biggest mistakes ever made in the series. I get that emotions were all over the place, but come on. You're telling me both a previous winner and one of the smartest characters in the entire series were unable to avoid making the two biggest mistakes in the entire series? Also, most of the deaths were underwhelmingly flat. The fact that it felt rushed played a big role, but more importantly, it felt like there were so many instances of people acting completely out of character. Gi Hun turned into a sociopath, Min Soo and Namgyu basically swapped personalities, and Grandma literally took out her own son and then herself, which barely makes any sense at all. MG Kwon went from a cool and redeemable guy to a warning for everyone to use condoms. Not only this, but a bunch of randoms ended up being finalists. But it wasn't just the questionable choices in the storytelling that felt undercooked. I typically don't judge shows for using CGI, but the baby looked comical to me. I wanted to laugh and make jokes in scenarios that were actually serious. The fact that the entire plot hinged on a poorly rendered CGI baby made the experience feel more like a parody or a joke ending. The dog also looked like he was from a cartoon. I know that these choices were the result of ethical laws, but they unintentionally added to the already comical vibe of Season 3. And don't even get me started on the VIPs. VIPs. They were painful to watch. In season 1, they were also annoying, but they had a certain distasteful charm to them, making them memorable, like the Russian-sounding guy with the really deep voice who loved poetry, or Mr. Pervman. But in season 3, the VIPs sounded like they were reading straight off the script, or like they're trying to teach foreigners how to speak English. Also, what the hell was that statue of Il Nam? By the way, if you're enjoying the video, please make sure to like and tell me what you think in the comments. Number 2, it was pointless. This is arguably the biggest problem the community has with the ending, creating a huge divide among fans. Gi Hun gives a slightly moving speech before throwing himself off the tower, saving the baby's life. But for what? Did he really trust a cruel and sick organization to take care of the baby? What if they hadn't? This is the same organization responsible for eliminating thousands upon thousands of players. We didn't even see the VIPs react to G-Man's choice, which made them feel like they were just throwaway characters. Most importantly, the games continue like nothing ever happened, which means Gi Hun's death had very little significance at all. It was more of a personal act of defiance. This situation wouldn't have even happened if each character hadn't made stupid decisions up until that point. While I don't think Gi Hun deserved a happy ending on all fronts, I do believe he deserved to matter, and at least have the VIPs question their wicked ways. Instead, Gi Hun became just another number in the games. Some fans believe the ending was fitting, showing how Gi Hun was the same person he's always been, a good guy who makes dumb decisions. A good amount of fans are convinced that Gi Hun's act of defiance was the perfect conclusion to the show. What do you think? A laughable and inexcusable part of season 3 was that Jun Ho the Explorer was completely useless. Not only did he spend the entire second season looking for the games, but he showed up exactly when it was too late and delivered 2 lines before leaving. Fans are even saying that he's the best character, since he got the prize money and the baby without doing a single thing. The way the finale played out made Jun Ho seem like an unnecessary character. If he was taken out of the story completely, the show would be relatively the same. Number 3, who are the real VIPs? It's no coincidence that Netflix chose the US for the next iteration of the games. This is an absolute cash grab, and not even a promising one. For one, the English is laughably bad, and 2, the recruiter at the end was playing Dokji with the hobo, but why not play an American game instead? This felt like a huge missed opportunity. Playing hopscotch, for example, would have been 1,000 times more fitting. This either means the writing was lazy, or that the American Squid Games might still feature games from Korea. The fact that this is unclear makes the finale seem cheap and underbaked, like the ending was just a placeholder scene to set up the American spin-off. Number 4, unanswered questions. It seems like the final episode left more questions than answers, which is not what you want from an ending. Why did Il Nam offer to help Jun Ho in 2015 by giving him a knife before the final game? Given the similarity with Gi Hun's situation, we can assume Il Nam developed an interest in his morals, just like he did with G-Money. We know Jun Ho was once a detective who even gave his own kidney for his brother, meaning Il Nam most likely helped him because of his heightened sense of morality and justice. But this is still up in the air. Also, because the recruiter plays Dokji in the US at the end, does that mean the games originated in Korea and expanded to other countries from there? This wouldn't make much sense otherwise. I was extremely disappointed by the little we learned about the frontman. We needed an entire episode dedicated only to Jun Ho. This would cover what led to him joining the games and what happened after he won. Instead, we got a handful of lines, creating more confusion than certainty. Since the frontman delivered the baby to his own brother and delivered Gi Hun's money to his daughter, was this a sign that the frontman is trying to become a better person? Since he went to visit Gohan's daughter in the US and saw the recruiter, does this mean he'll play a role in the American Squid Games too? Squid Game Season 1 had soul. Season 2 had a lot of great ideas. Season 3 wasn't terrible, but it left a lot to be desired, especially for such a massively successful show. Squid Game is one of my all-time favorite shows, and it felt like Season 3 took away from that. But I want to know what you think. What did you think of the final season? What other problems did I forget to mention? And how do you want the series to continue? Share this video with someone you know and check out these delicious videos.